So this would just be the summary page. And this, each of these elements kind of borrow from other ones of these subpages. So the summary page just kind of gives you a high-level overview of the account. If you want more details on your assets, you'd go to the asset page so you can see how many active assets there were, utilization, odometer, hours. This is kind of an interesting one. This is the average year of the pieces of equipment. You can see a count of the active assets by day. So this is just all of the assets that have had a ignition on during the particular day. You can see the count of messages that were sent from the telematics devices each day. You get a breakdown of your make, model, year, and then you have the total assets by odometer. So you can see that there's 62 pieces of equipment, for example, that have between 150 and 250,000 miles. And then this table at the bottom provides the details behind everything that's on these upper pages or these upper graphs. The utilization page would go through all of the utilization for the equipment. So utilization, there's two different ways that we calculate it. One is basic utilization, which is what is selected now. And basic utilization just says, I want my equipment to run for 8 hours a day, every day, and it's pretty basic. The other way to look at utilization is active utilization. And if I select that, you'll see all these graphs will change. And active utilization says, I want to know the utilization for only my pieces of equipment that had a ignition on event during that day. So you'll see that the average utilization will jump up pretty significantly when you filter out equipment that is not used at all. So with the utilization, you get a breakdown at the bottom. So the anything that's red would indicate a day where the machine was utilized more than 100%, and you're determining 100% based on 8 hours. So if I were to change this to 4 hours as my target utilization, you'll see that these graphs change. So anything that's red means that it ran for more than 4 hours on an individual day. Anything that's yellow means that it ran for, it's 50% to 100% utilized. In this example, it would be between 2 and 4 hours operated on a day. And then anything that's blue would be light utilization. So if it ran for, in this example, less than 2 hours for an individual day. Then scrolling down, you get a scatter plot with some more options. People will see everything broken down by day. And then you have a table that has all of the details in it here. So if you wanted to export that, you could do that as well. The engine hours tab shows you everything by engine hours. So you can see how many pieces of equipment ran in the last 7 days that supplied engine hours. You can see what that total runtime was, the daily runtime, the fuel used, and the daily fuel used. See a graph of the runtime over time, the fuel used by day, the runtime by make. And again, this is only by make because I have the filter set to make. I could very easily change this to vehicle year. And you can see my runtime by vehicle year. You can also see fuel used by the same filter. And then a table with all of the details for that. The next page would be odometer. And this is going to give you all of your mileage-based information. So you can see how many pieces of equipment supplied a odometer value during the last 7 days, the total mileage operated during that time, the average daily distance, the fuel used, the daily fuel used, graphs of the distance traveled over time, fuel used over time. Then you can have these summary level charts where you're able to compare and contrast the distance traveled and the fuel used based on whatever summary level you want to pick. And at the bottom, all of the details that can be exported to Excel. The next page would be alerts. So this would be give you a summary of all of the alerts that have occurred in the past 7 days. So you can see that there were 442 alerts that were generated. You can see a breakdown of the day that they generated and then their color code, informational, warning, or critical. See the total count of the alerts, the critical alerts, driver safety alerts, or any idle alerts. You can see the alerts triggered by type, the alerts triggered by severity, and then the details for all of the alerts. And the last page would be driver safety, which we already went over. And this will show you a summary of all the specific driver safety events. You can see a breakdown by day, by asset, or whatever other summary level you're interested in. The summary events by type, the event rate, and then a table with all of the details.